Picture this. The air is thick with humidity, the streets of Havana buzzing with life one day, silent as a tomb the next. It's the late 1800s, and a creeping terror has descended. A mother clutches her child as his skin turns a sickly yellow, his cries fading into a haunting stillness. Down in New Orleans, coffins pile up like driftwood after a storm, the wails of the grieving drowned out by the buzz of insects. This is no ordinary sickness. It's yellow fever, a phantom killer that strikes without mercy, leaving behind jaundiced corpses and shattered cities. No one knows where it comes from. No one knows how to stop it. But in the heart of this chaos, one man, a quiet doctor with a wild idea, is about to ignite a spark that could burn away the darkness. This is the story of Carlos Finlay, a Cuban physician with a mind as sharp as a scalpel and a heart too stubborn to quit. They called his idea crazy, a tiny mosquito, no bigger than a whisper, carrying a disease that could topple empires. The world laughed, but Finlay didn't flinch. For years he fought alone, a lone candle flickering against a hurricane of doubt, until fate sent allies, brave souls armed with science and courage, to join his quest. Together, they'd face ridicule, risk death, and rewrite history. This is no dry tale of textbooks and test tubes. This is a saga of defiance, sacrifice, and a victory that saved millions. Step back to 1878. New Orleans is a city under siege, not by soldiers, but by an invisible enemy. The Mississippi River hums with trade, but now it's a graveyard of abandoned ships. Families huddle in homes that reek of despair, praying the fever spares them. It doesn't. First comes the heat, a fever that feels like your bones are melting. Then the yellowing, as if the sun itself has seeped into your skin. And finally, the black vomit, dark tar-like proof that death is near. Across the sea in Havana, it's the same nightmare. Summer arrives, and with it, the plague. Shops shutter, streets empty. Thousands die, their last breath swallowed by the tropical heat. The doctors scramble for answers. "Bad air," they say, pointing to the swamps and sewers. They burn barrels of tar, cloaking cities in choking smoke. They lock the sick away, but the fever slips through like a thief in the night. The world is desperate, drowning in fear, and no one has a clue. Carlos Finlay, born December 3rd, 1833, in a dusty Cuban town called Puerto Principe. His blood runs with adventure. His Scottish father fought with revolutionaries. His French mother raised him on tales of resilience. Young Carlos heads to Philadelphia, earning a medical degree from Jefferson Medical College in 1855, then returns to Havana with a fire in his belly. He's no ordinary doctor. He's a watcher, a thinker, and as yellow fever tears through his island year after year, he starts to see something no one else does. It's the mosquitoes, those pesky, whining nuisances that swarm the humid nights. Finlay notices how the fever flares where they thrive, how it skips houses sealed tight against their bites. In 1881, he steps onto the world stage at a conference in Washington, D.C., and drops a bombshell. The Aedes aegypti mosquito is the killer's courier. He's got evidence, years of watching, testing, scribbling notes, but the room erupts in jeers. "A mosquito?" they scoff. "Next you'll say flies carry smallpox." Finlay stands tall, his voice steady, but the world turns its back. For nearly 20 years, Finlay is a ghost in his own story. The medical elite dismiss him as a dreamer, a fool chasing bugs while real doctors battle miasma. Newspapers print cartoons of him swatting mosquitoes with a stethoscope. Even in Cuba, His neighbors shrug. But Finlay doesn't break. He holds up in his little Havana office, breeding mosquitoes in jars, letting them bite the sick, then the healthy. Some volunteers shiver with fever days later, their suffering a grim nod to his hunch. Yet the results aren't perfect, and the doubters stay loud. He writes papers no one reads, pleads with anyone who'll listen. The years grind on. 1880s bleed into 1890s, and still, yellow fever rages. Finlay's hair grays, but his eyes burn brighter. He knows the truth is out there, buzzing in the wings of those tiny assassins. All he needs is someone brave enough to believe. The year is 1898, and war shakes the Caribbean. America's victory over Spain leaves troops in Cuba, and yellow fever cuts them down like wheat. Hundreds die, their tents turned into deathbeds. The U.S. Army can't ignore it anymore. In 1900, they send a crack team, the Yellow Fever Commission, led by Dr. Walter Reed, a surgeon with a steel-trap mind and a soldier's grit. Their orders? Find the cause or watch the army crumble. Reed lands in Havana and meets Finlay, now a silver-haired sage with a jar of mosquito eggs and a story to tell. Reed's no fool. He's heard the mosquito talk and rolled his eyes like the rest. But Finlay's quiet fire sparks something. The old man hands over his notes, his decades of toil, and says, "Test it. Prove me right." Reed takes the challenge. This isn't just science. It's a duel with death itself. Outside Havana, at a place called Camp Columbia, Reed builds his battlefield. 2 huts rise from the dirt, one sealed tight against mosquitoes, the other a gauntlet for Finlay's theory. Volunteers step up. Soldiers, locals, men with nothing to lose and everything to give. They know the odds. Yellow fever kills fast and ugly. But they sign on anyway, heroes in cotton shirts. August 27th, 1900. Dr. James Carroll, Reed's right-hand man, rolls up his sleeve and lets an infected mosquito feast. Days later, he's burning up, his body a war zone. He pulls through barely. Then Jesse Lazare, the team's dreamer, takes his turn. A mosquito lands, maybe by chance, maybe by choice, and bites. On September 25th, he's gone, his life snuffed out at 34. The camp mourns, but his death lights the fuse. In one hut, men sleep with soiled sheets from fever victims. No one gets sick. In the other, mosquitoes sink their needles into fresh skin, and the fever ignites. The proof slams down like a gavel. Finlay was right. Reed pens the news in October 1900, his words ringing with awe. It was Finlay's theory, and he deserves much for having suggested it. The world gasps. The mosquito isn't just a pest, it's a murderer. Victory tastes bitter. Lazare's widow weeps in Philadelphia, and the volunteers who survived carry scars, some physical, some silent. Was it worth it? Reed wrestles with the question, but the answer lies in the lives they've unlocked. Finlay's dream, born in ridicule, has claws now. It's a beast that can fight back. The ethical shadows linger, human guinea pigs, lives gambled for science. But without them, yellow fever would still be a reaper in the night. Havana, 1901. Major William Gorgas, a bulldog of a man, grabs Finlay's truth and runs with it. No more fumbling with bad air. He declares war on the mosquito. His army storms the city, draining puddles, torching breeding grounds, screening windows with a vengeance. The Aedes aegypti doesn't stand a chance. Within months, Havana breathes again. Yellow fever vanishes like a bad dream. The ripple spreads. In Panama, where the French abandoned a canal to the fever's jaws, Gorgas repeats the magic. By 1906, the disease is a memory, and the Panama Canal rises, a monument to steel and mosquito blood. Finlay's idea isn't just saving cities, It's reshaping the world. Swamps dry up, screens go up, and the death toll plummets. The little doctor from Havana has turned a hunch into a hammer. Finlay, now an old man, finally gets his due. In 1902, Cuba names him Chief Sanitation Officer, and medals pile up. Honors from Spain, Portugal, his own people. He walks Havana's streets, a quiet giant, until August 20th, 1915, when he slips away at 81. Walter Reed doesn't live to see the full dawn. He dies in 1902, but his name echoes in hospitals and history books. Gorgas, the mosquito slayer, carves his own legend. Today, yellow fever hides in the shadows. Vaccines and vigilance keep it at bay. Once a monster that devoured cities, it's now a footnote, because one man dared to dream, and others dared to die for it. This isn't just a story of bugs and breakthroughs. It's about a lone voice shouting into the wind, about a band of believers who turned laughter into triumph. Carlos Finlay didn't stop yellow fever alone. Walter Reed, Jesse Lazier, and a chorus of unsung heroes stood with him. They faced the unknown, bled for it, and won. Their victory whispers to us now. No plague is invincible, no idea too wild. In every corner free of fever, their spirits linger, proof that courage and curiosity can conquer anything. Thanks for riding this wild tale with us. If it hooked you, hit that like button, subscribe, and spread the word. There's more where this came from. Stories of grit, genius, and glory waiting to be told. Until next time, keep chasing the past. It's got secrets worth hearing.